Good morning, everyone. Sorry, we had a little technical glitch. Apologies for starting a couple of moments late. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedules to join us today. My name is Tyler Runchaway, and as the Director of Business Development for VersaFile, I'm pleased to have with us today Pascal Bornet, who is the lead author of the book Intelligent Automation: Learn How to Harness Artificial Intelligence to Boost Business and Make Our World More Human. So we've had the pleasure of working with Pascal on a few speaking engagements, so we hope that you will find this time as valuable and as insightful as others have. Just a couple of structural comments. The structure of today's event is it's a 30-minute presentation, and then we'll open up the balance of the time to your questions. If you have questions during the presentation, please feel free to enter them into the chat, although we will hold those questions until the end. And we'll do our best to cover as many of them as we possibly can during today's session. So again, thank you for joining us. And with that, I will hand things over to Pascal.
Thank you, Tayo. Thanks for that, and thanks for the invitation. That's always a pleasure to share with you and your audience on such an important and exciting topic of intelligent automation. I remove my video to make sure that we have enough bandwidth for the slides and the videos in the slides. Short introduction on myself. My name is Pascal Bornet. I'm an expert and pioneer in the field of intelligent automation. I'm the author of the first reference book on this topic, which is called Intelligent Automation: Learn How to Harness AI to Boost Business and Make Our World More Human. I'm coming with 20+ years of experience in digital transformations. I founded and led the AI and automation practices at McKinsey and Ernst & Young. Okay, that's really where I'm bringing all the lessons learned that I will share with you today. I'm a member of the Forbes Technology Council and senior advisor for several companies like the Institute of Robotic Process Automation and Artificial Intelligence. And before all, I'm passionate about what I will share with you today, about boosting businesses with intelligent automation and making our world more human. So the insights I will present are coming from a book that is called Intelligent Automation that I wrote with two co-authors. One is Jan Barkin. Jan Barkin is a serial entrepreneur, successful serial entrepreneur. He created the first pure play intelligent automation advisory company 6 years ago, and he sold it one year ago to a large group, NASDAQ quoted group. And Jeroen Wiers is an academic dean of the University of Singapore and professor of service marketing. The book has been released 6 months ago, and we are really lucky and happy that it's been an Amazon bestseller since then. So I'm going to start right now. I'm going to refer to intelligent automation using the acronym IA, okay, to make it faster and simpler for all of us. I'll go straight into it. Let me introduce the concept of intelligent automation. So IA is very recent. It's been officially coined in 2017 by the famous international technology standard IEEE. So it's just 5 years old. While the previous automation revolutions supported manual work, IA supports knowledge work, also referred to as white-collar work or commonly called office work. So today, office work represents the largest part of our workforce. It accounts for more than 80% of the job roles in our global economy. And this is the same for all companies around the world. And those roles include lawyers, financial controllers, call center operators, myself, and most of you on this call are knowledge workers, and hence all of us represents a huge opportunity of transformation using IA, and this represents the same for your company. My co-authors and I have worked with more than 200 IA experts to define what we call IA and bring to life its frameworks. So here is the outcome. IA aims at automating end-to-end processes on computers and delivering business outcomes on behalf of the employees and working hands in hands with the employees. It uses a combination of methods involving people, organizations, and processes, and technologies. And when we talk about technologies, if this circle is artificial intelligence, which is mimicking human intelligence, if the second circle is software robotics, basically mimicking human motor capability in a software-based environment, think here of robotic process automation, APIs, for example. And if this circle are workflows and cloud platforms, IA simply sits at the crossroad of these fields. And as a result, IA increases process speed, reduces cost, enhances compliance and quality, and optimizes decision outcomes. So ultimately, it significantly improves customer and employee experience and boosts revenues. During our research, we took the list of the largest Fortune 500 companies, and we computed for each of them their profit per employee. We sorted them by the highest profit per employee in order to identify the companies producing more with less people. And as you can see on this screen, it's not surprising to see that Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft are topping this ranking. This research proved that the most efficient companies in the world are extensively leveraging intelligent automation. So intelligent automation is a business imperative. About half of the S&P 500 companies are likely to be replaced over the next 10 years. IA is not only a question of competitiveness, but also of business survival. And I think we've witnessed this during the COVID times that we are living in. Companies which are digitalized and automated resist better and even thrive in these times. So I'm not afraid to say that companies that can't sell products and services online, collect the cash online, motivate their employees remotely, and manage their operations remotely with minimal human intervention are only alive today thanks to government subsidies. Based on my experience, IA provides 20 to 60% productivity improvement. And this is available across function and across industry. At the end of the book, we have a list of more than 500 use cases across function and across industries. Now let's talk about the adoption of IA in companies globally. And this is what comes out. More than 50% of organizations around the world have started their IA journey. And it will climb to more than 70% in the coming 2 years, according to Deloitte. Here is our maturity model. It shows 5 levels from paper-based to fully digitalized and intelligently digitalized. Intelligently digital, sorry. The companies we have just mentioned, remember the Google, the Facebook, and others, as part of our research, they are at level 4, which basically is they are born digital. And so it's quite easy for them because they started already automated. Okay, there is no change, there is no legacy to face with. For the companies that were not born digital, most of the companies today are between level 1 and level 3. Which is already a good thing. Because they've started their journey. Okay, that's the most important. Nevertheless, it appears this is not enough. The business impact of a transformation only brings return on investment when it reaches a certain scale in the company. this leads me to this point. Sorry. This leads me to this point. According to McKinsey, less than 15% of the companies worldwide have been able to scale their IA transformation. So the key question now is how to succeed an IA transformation at scale. There are a multitude of frameworks that we can leverage to reach the goal of scalability in the transformation. And this is an example of a framework presenting 7 pillars from forming an intelligent automation strategy. And you can see it's about, first of all, deciding, ingesting the data. Then it's about orchestrating and interpreting, and then optimizing. Now, how to implement this successfully? To start with, according to our experience and research that we present in the book, companies which have successfully been able to scale their transformation had implemented 5 initiatives. To start with, they have implemented 2 fundamentals that you can see on this screen. The first one is put people in the center of an IA transformation. IA is built by people for people. And I'm used to say that without people, there is no IA, but without IA, there are still people, okay? Second fundamental is, and as you can see on the bottom of this visualization, start with a strong and healthy foundation. Management support and sponsorship is critical. I've never seen a company succeeding such a transformation without a strong sponsorship and involvement of management. Secondly, capability building and change management are critical as well. Let's move to the third critical success factor. Combining the IA capabilities to create synergies. When I talk about capabilities here, I'm talking about the technologies that we are using. And those technologies range from robotic process automation to machine learning to computer vision, natural language processing, and more. And we explain this framework in the book. What we say here is those companies that have been able to connect and to leverage those different technologies in solving their most complex end-to-end use cases have been able to create the highest value. So automating end-to-end processes instead of isolated tasks is the most optimal way to increase impact and give the capacity to address the most complex use cases. This combination is not only at technology level, but also at teams and competency level. So successful companies have been able to merge, or at least to create bridges between their different teams, combining talents such as data science, automation, customer experience, process excellence, risk, having all those talents around the same table to redesign the processes and automate them. This is an example of a work that we've done for a financial institution. And this is a client onboarding process. Don't go too much into reading the detail of it. I will give you the key aspects right now. This process includes 8 steps, as you can see. It has been fully automated end to end. And this has been possible only by combining different IA technologies, such as intelligent workflows, RPA, computer vision, machine learning, APIs, and more. While this process used to take up to 20 days to onboard a client, so basically it used to take 20 days to go through these 8 steps for each and every client, it can now be performed in minutes. And as a result, it provides higher customer and employee experience and reduces cost by more than 50%. The fourth critical success factor that all the companies that have been able to scale their transformation in IA have put in place is the democratization of IA by using technologies such as low-code platforms that require limited skills to build IA applications. So those technologies make IA accessible to most business users. And because everyone in a company can now participate in implementing intelligent automation, as each and every one of those people can automate their day-to-day work and improve their day-to-day work thanks to automation, all those people participate in the transformation in a way. So their ownership of the transformation and acceptance of IA is increased. And as all the people in the company work towards that goal, it allows the shifts of the company's culture to more digitization and automation. Example of this technology is low code that provide the opportunity for everyone to automate their work with limited coding skills, leveraging user-friendly screens and drag and drop functionalities, as you can see. Business users are able to connect APIs, build rules, connect machine learning applications with others by themselves. Based on my experience, it helps to increase the speed of the transformation by 20 to 50%. Another example is this one, created by MIT, Virtual Data Scientists. It's the name of this program, VDS. It runs machine learning predictions through an intuitive user interface available on smartphone and tablets. Let's take the example of this person that we see on the screen. He's a medical doctor, and he wants to understand the correlation between the age of the patient and the likelihood of having a blood disease. So the doctor just combines two boxes corresponding to data feature blood disease and data feature age. And as a result, the interface automatically displays a bar chart of the patient's age distribution. Last, number 5, critical success factor. It's about accelerating IA implementations by leveraging technology. It's really ironic that most of the digital transformations that happen today are extremely human resource intensive. We need hands to build digital. But what if technology could help us to go faster and broader? That's exactly the point here, accelerating implementations of IA by leveraging technology. This technology can be process discovery, process mining, data discovery, auto machine learning, automated maintenance. Another example here, released a few months ago, Tab9 is an auto-completer that helps to write code faster. It embeds a deep learning model which provides high-quality suggestions. So Tab9 has been trained on more than 2 million files from GitHub. So those are the key messages that I wanted to share with you today, coming from the book. As you can see on this screen, the book includes more than 500 IA use cases across functions and across industries. So all of this has been broken down by function and by industry so that it is really practical and easy to use. It includes more than 100 IA transformation successes and failures. So basically the lessons learned from those. And more than 200 IA industry experts participated in these insights. The profit from the book will be donated to charities. This is an example of what you'll be able to see to find in the book, this type of framework. So this framework is really explaining, it's a good summary of all we explain in the book related to a successful transformation. It starts with the foundation, as you can see at the bottom of this slide, which is basically what are the critical success factors for such a transformation. In the middle here, we can see the 4 main capabilities: vision, execution, language, and thinking and learning, and an explanation of the key technologies that compose each of them. And behind in red, you can see the new technologies that are coming, providing new levers to improve the scale of those transformations. We say that pictures are worth 1,000 words, but I think it's the same for quotes, okay? And here are my favorite ones related to successful IA transformations. IA is a journey, not a destination. To start with, IA is not a one-off exercise. It's a never-ending transformation journey. It continuously brings additional benefits to the organizations by applying evolving concepts, methods, and technologies. So hence, building teams with the right skills to get the company in the transformation is critical. Another one that I think is very insightful for companies. IA is a business transformation, not a technology project. So the perspective of business benefits should guide the transformation before all. The transformation involves not only technology, but most importantly, people with change management and training, and processes with process redesigns. And maybe the last one I want to dig on is think big, start small, and scale fast. Initiate the transformation with the definition of a multi-year company-wide vision, roadmap, and business case. These plans needs to be flexible and adaptable. Then smart small with the implementation of a pilot, and take the time to learn from this experience. And finally, implement the broader scope in stages to manage the risks, and gradually increase the speed and the scale of the transformation, and as a result, generate higher impact. So that's all I wanted to share with you today from the book, and I would be very happy to answer any of your questions and get any of your comments.
Thanks, Pascal. Bit of echo. So we have a couple of questions that have come in already, and would encourage for those in attendance, if you have any other questions, to post them to the chat. The first question was, what is the best way to increase the level of IA adoption in an organization?
Yes, very critical question. I think it's done at two levels. One is management, and the second is all employees, people. At management level, it's about, and as I said before, that's maybe two of them are very important. But in the sequence, it should be management first. Okay. I've never seen such a transformation working without the support, sponsorship, and involvement of management. And you might wonder, so how can I get my management to support and to be involved? To get there, management is looking for 2 or 3 things. The first one is, what is a business case? So basically, how much can I benefit from this transformation? And this is about collecting the different use cases. The wider we can collect them across functions, the more we'll be able to collect good ones, impactful ones, and the more the sum of all those use cases will show benefits, which will show high benefits. And the higher the benefits, the higher will be the potential investments that management can put to implement and provide those benefits. So the first one, the first document, the first tool to give to management to get their support is the business case. The second is what is the roadmap? When do we expect these benefits to be realized? And that's about prioritizing in time those use cases, starting with of course the ones that will generate the most, and understanding as well how much resources we'll put on that. Okay, so it's going to be a transformation of 1 year, 2 years. So those are the two key fundamental documents to get to get to management in order to get their buy-in. And I would say on top of this, it's about supporting management, building their vision around this, and transforming their company to be not only more competitive, but most importantly to survive, and I would say thirdly to thrive in this environment that is ever changing. So that's for management. The second is about people, and people. It starts with informing, educating them. Okay, and I think we should be very transparent with them. If we are not transparent, if we don't communicate enough, people start thinking, what does it mean for me? Are those technologies going to replace my work? So we need to right away explain that, yes, the purpose is to replace the transactional work that they are currently doing, if this is the case, and telling them that no, and we have plans for you. We will refocus you. We'll now get you into a more interesting job, a job where you'll be able to be excited, to enjoy more than what you're doing. And reassuring them is extremely important on that, giving them this visibility. So information, education, and I think for people it goes then about giving them the ownership of this transformation. So basically involving them. So what I said before, using low-code technologies, for example, giving them the opportunity to participate in the transformation is critical, because if you add all those people being able to do that on their own day-to-day work, it really changes the whole culture of the company.
So Pascal, a couple more questions, if yes, we may. Yes. One, can you talk about the difference from your perspective between IA, hyperautomation, or extreme automation? Is it all the same?
For me, intelligent automation and hyperautomation are definitely the same, or at least the differences are not worth even spending a few minutes of discussion on it. Extreme automation, that's the first time I hear about that, and that's always funny to hear all those buzzwords that
well, I think in your book you talk about, hyperautomation, cognitive, like the marketing machines will push out all sorts of words that fundamentally mean the same thing. Yeah, we just have encountered extreme automation for the first time in the last month. But okay, another question. In your experience, what is a better automation tool, RPA or workflow products? And I think we actually had this question once before. It was slightly worded differently about, would you opt for RPA or workflow API-based stuff?
Hey, Tayo, I couldn't get the beginning
of
the question.
Sorry. In your experience, what is a better automation tool, RPA or a workflow product or a BPM product?
Good question. And many companies are wondering the same. In my view, and we explain it very clearly in the book, we have a very special, because that's really a recurring question. The answer, very short, is workflow tool for what is workflow needed, okay? And what is workflow needed is about collecting data, enabling the collection of data, enabling the routing of data, and enabling approval processes, for example. So what we call the workflows of data. That's definitely, there is nothing else, nothing better. Why I say it's better, because it's already, those tools, those platforms are ready to use. Okay, you don't need to do everything from scratch. With an RPA tool, you have to do everything from scratch. Okay, and an RPA tool is not made for work for this type of routing of data and approval processes. Okay, it's and workflow of screens. It's not made for that. What RPA will be good at is any automation of manual activities that are between legacy systems very often, and that can be performed by any other form of automation technologies. I would say RPA is the kind of the last recourse in terms of automation tools. The great advantages of RPA, it's extremely flexible. You can do anything you want with that. The downside of it's going to take time, because you have to do everything from scratch, except if you use a template. But even with a template, you'll have a lot of manual work to do. And the second downside is about flexibility and adaptability in time. I mean, any changes in the process will require maintenance and changes in the RPA program.
Okay. Couple others. What is the best way for a company or organization to start an automation initiative? And how do you envision the role of a center of excellence in that?
The starting point, I mean, the successful starting point, there can be many starting points, okay, but the most successful one and the most straightforward one is starting with management vision, what I explained before. Management vision with the support of a business case and a roadmap, and to get their buy-in and to get their sponsorship and involvement into launching a great initiative that is across the company, across the functions. The wider, the broader, the more the impact will be on the organization. That's the best way. Now there are many ways to get there, okay? And it can start, very often we see that, starting with one function trying a pilot. Even if this pilot is successful, if finally this function is not able to talk about it and to convince the rest of the organization to go with them, and to convince management to go with them, it's just a waste of effort, and very often it happens. Yeah, I mean, another advice I can give you is, and this is one of the reasons why we wrote this book, is this book is here to educate, to explain to management what they can get from this transformation, what they should take care of, and what are the benefits, the expected benefits they can get from it. So buy the book and give it to your CEO. That's another way to do it as
well. What do you see as low-hanging fruit to get organizations started on their journey?
That will be different for any organization. Maybe I have it in these slides. No, I don't have. We have a great explanation in the book where I mean, the first step is always the same. It's about collecting the different use cases that can be implemented in the company, and the low-hanging fruit will be, out of all those use cases, the one that deliver the highest benefits with the lowest efforts. So that's why I say it really depends on each company, but the way to get there is to do this collection of use cases. Okay, but think of it. Usually it's very, very simple. It's the type of tasks that are currently requiring the highest workload in the company. Okay, the type of tasks that are repetitive and require the highest workload in the company. So very often the key driver is workload, current workload. That's a very good way to identify quickly where you will get the highest benefits.
Follow-on question from me. I presume, just based on our experience, also the value of a process. So high-value processes would also be a target there.
Definitely, yes,
Okay.
definitely. So
Another.
yeah, it's a very good. So sorry, Tayo. It's a very good point. So any process, end-to-end process that is targeting to customers, for example, or targeting to high strategic and highly valued activities in the company are definitely to be prioritized.
Interesting question. Would you recommend a combination of best-of-breed technologies or a single vendor platform approach, and why?
Good question. And it really depends on the needs here. I would say in general, the less amount of programs you have, the less amount of vendors you use, the better it is. That's in general, because for many reasons, and because first of all, it's easier to negotiate. Secondly, those different programs will be connected natively, the one to the other, so you won't have those frictions, issues, bridges, and interfaces issues. When you try to build an overall program taking piecemeal, best of breed programs, and if one of them doesn't work, then it becomes a bottleneck, and the overall thing doesn't work anymore. So getting one platform that works well with all the components really helps in terms of consistency, frictionless. That's the short answer.
Okay. This is a long question, so I'll read it slowly. Can you give examples of a good IA starting point for smaller companies where the majority of the roles are completed by only one or two people? This means it's probably impossible to justify from an ROI point of view, but have you seen some good examples in smaller organizations or paths that they have taken?
So if I understand well the question, it is about justifying the automation of tasks that are currently performed by only one or two FTEs.
Yeah, or I think the question is coming at, a 50-person company is going to receive very different ROI than a 5,000-person company. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't look at intelligent automation, but it's going to be harder to business justify from an ROI perspective. So have you seen examples where small organizations have started in a specific area to maximize the value?
Okay, that's a very good point, and we just discussed it a few hours ago on another webinar where we explained. Basically, it's a startup. It's a 12-people company in the insurance industry, and when I was writing this book a year ago, I worked with them and helped them to transform them from a traditional insurance broker company using paper-based documents. The old way, and the insurance industry is still very paper-based, no? And we've completely transformed this company into an insurtech company. Now all their products are available online. They had no choice because of the COVID crisis. They had no choice but to change completely their business model. And now all their products are available online. B2B clients can come and buy any of their insurance end-to-end in 7 minutes online. And the scalability of the business, the differentiation of the market, the productivity, the low use of resources, of human resources, all this makes huge sense, and they are raising capital, and investors really love it. Because it's very innovative. So that's an example of a company, a small company that really thrived with intelligent automation.
Cool. Actually, there's a question that links to that. what's the best capture technology you've seen for extracting handwriting with high accuracy from forms? So your talk about insurance is a classic scenario where that's a problem.
That is still an issue. Handwriting is still an issue. So usually we would, I mean, for typed information, it's easy to extract it using an optical character recognition, and then bringing on top a natural language processing that helps to recognize words and classify them and be able to use them later on in processing in processing applications. When it is for handwriting, except for capital letters and except if they are well written, you know, it's today there is no solution on the market.
Okay. Another question: does the book explain some of the AI trade-offs that management needs to be aware of from a people perspective? So I assume this question means, you know, if you're going to automate some things, you alluded to it earlier, there's going to be some organizational change management and HR people-related concerns. So does the book talk about balancing that? And if I misrepresented the question, whoever put it up, please correct me, but I think that's what the question is getting.
Yes, definitely. We start the chapter number 3, which is about success. I mean, a successful IA transformation by the issues, the typical issues. So typical issues are a lot around talent, change management, education, and more. That's a critical component. And remember the framework that I showed before. The 2 frameworks that I showed basically before, all of them had people in the center. So that's critical. You can't get such a transformation without having the people with you.
Okay. Interesting question here. Do you see any advantage to waiting for current technologies to mature before making an investment, and if not, why?
That's a very difficult question. We always, you know, there is really a pros and cons of being the first one using a technology. And as we all know, when you're the first one to use a technology, you'll get difficulties. You'll face all the issues of a pioneer, but you'll also get all the lessons learned before the others. And yeah, the pros of going with more mature technologies is you're just a challenger, you're just following the others, but you're also getting more straightforward solutions where you don't face issues, you don't face all the issues. But so I tend to prefer the innovative way, which is about going to the new technologies first. Because you learn a lot. You learn, and what you learn is not only at technology level, but also at people level, the way to work, new methodologies, so the learning and the innovation makes me prefer for the first one.
So this is my follow-up to this question. So if I understand what you're saying, you're really saying that your first mover advantage, particularly if you choose the right set of business cases, is always going to come out ahead. If you have high value business cases that have a high ROI, then your first mover, everyone's going to go through it. But to your point, you'll be there first. You'll have learned the lessons, and particularly if you're talking about competitive nature things, then you actually have that window of advantage over others in your space.
That's a good point. So if you add to the equation, is what I'm going to achieve something that will really make a difference on my market, that is extremely strategic, that there is really no reason to even ask the question and directly go into the new technologies.
You and I had a conversation a week or so ago, and we were talking about your list of the top 5 performing organizations, and I was actually surprised Amazon wasn't there. And you want to comment on that? Because your comment to me was actually a bit eye-opening, and it really made me think about it. But so for those that are listening, the question was, oh, I would have thought Amazon would have been on this list. And Pascal, what was your reply?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe surprising for what the image we all have of Amazon, but Amazon is extremely human resources intensive, and that's the reason they are not in the list of the most productive companies that I presented before. And yeah, so the way they are working is extremely manual for the timing. They are gradually automating the processes, but they started with the very manual processes.
Okay, got a couple more questions here, and then opportunity for anyone else to add a few more questions. Can you give examples about the role of intelligent automation in scaling business operations?
Yes, I mean, the layer in which intelligent automation is playing a role is the layer of current human workload. Okay, we are not replacing ERPs. We are not replacing all the foundational systems that we have in a company. So talking about this layer of where the work is currently being done by people, today, if you want to scale your business, it means you need to add more people. Okay, and this takes time to recruit. Okay, at minimum three months, as we all know, for one role, and then time to train the people, to get them ramp up, to get to the and then if by volatility of what's happening in the context, your business decreases or changes, you don't have the flexibility to change those human resources easily, okay, and to reallocate them to other staff or to get rid of them. I mean, IA, intelligent automation, those technologies are, whenever you've automated one end-to-end process, whatever the level of demand that goes through this process, you'll be able to increase and decrease as much as you want. It's as easy as it is to do a copy and paste on Word or on Excel. Okay, it's as easy as this. So the scalability and the flexibility is, I mean, way easier than it used to be with the human resources.
Cool. I have two more questions that are listed here, in case or unless a couple of others come in. You showed a maturity model, you know, and you talked about where most people sit for an average mid-sized corporation. So outside of a Fortune 500 or FP, 1000, what is the average mid-sized corporation at on the maturity model you showed?
I think it's level. I remember we had paper-based. We had in the first stage of automation, second stage. I would say most of them are in level 2. So away from paper-based, I would say for more than 50%, and getting to automate some of their end-to-end processes, the most strategic ones. Okay, that's where
our findings. Obviously, we don't have the same experience you do, but our findings are it's about 2.25. That's typically where organizations sit. And funny enough, that actually applies to large organizations too. Sometimes some very large organizations you would expect to be farther along the curve. They've made investments in certain areas, but there's still a lot of manual processes or gaps in the process. Lots of paper, lots of swivel chair integration type stuff. So,
yeah.
Last question that I have here is, does IA differ in how it is applied to content-centric or knowledge worker processes versus data-driven processes? And if so, how?
I'm trying to digest the question.
I think what is being gotten at here, because we've encountered this question before in a different way. You have knowledge workers that you've talked about, white collar workers, and then you also have a lot of IA applied to, straight through processing, where you talked about the insurance company that you helped. They've kind of moved their stuff almost to straight through processing. You pick something off a website, you can, I think you said 7 minutes. But in large organizations, you're going to have some very knowledge worker specific, I need to look at the document, I need to make a decision. Some of that can be handed off to an ML model, but some of it is going to require someone with some business acumen to say, no, we're going to do this. So I guess, I think the question is asking, if you are taking an IA lens to an organization, do you take a slightly different lens when it is knowledge worker based versus how to drive, data lakes and deep learning and models out of data centric processes?
Yes. So and for me, this question comes to the question of is the approach of implementing intelligent automation based fundamentally on processes, or which are basically a sequence of tasks, or on data, which are the representation of what is being done as an outcome of a process, and that's a very, very good question, and that's I think that's where the market is moving. You've heard about those process mining that is coming, and you've heard about AutoML, you've heard about data discovery. If you combine both the process aspect, the process dimension, and the data dimension, I think you really uncover all we can uncover. And when you uncover such an amount of things, you can understand better how to automate them. And maybe a shortcut to this answer is, instead of even thinking of those two dimensions together in the same time, and that seems to increase the work that we have to do to think of what can be automated and how to automate it, why don't we take the shortcut of automating decisions? When you think of a decision, it's about it is the tipping point of any end-to-end process. For example, the process of procurement. The key decision that you need to take is who do I need to buy, how many products, for when. Okay, if you can, through data, answer this question, then first of all, you'll have all the process to answer this question before that will be automated. Okay, and when you've answered this question and taken the decision, then you have all the execution of the activities that come after, which is about generating a purchase order, which is about managing all the relationship with the vendors and getting to the payments. Okay, so it's
perfect.
So having a view focused on the decision, I think and automating the decision can be a quite compelling way of identifying an end-to-end process and automating it.
Perfect. So Pascal, it's been a pleasure having you on. If you wouldn't mind forwarding the deck by 2 slides to the last slide. I think there's, would you like to learn more? I believe, yes. So thank you everyone for joining us today. This was recorded, so it'll actually go up on our websites, so you can replay the webinar. If you'd like to learn more, there's a few links. Pascal's book is available on Amazon.com or .ca, and you may have caught in the prior slide, this isn't a pitch to sell the book. This is about, the education about intelligent automation. The proceeds to the book go to charities. So this isn't Pascal doing a book tour to make millions of dollars. If you want to look at Gartner's top strategic trends, Gartner.com, search hyperautomation, which is their term for IA. Forrester, their business imperatives, there's some links here. McKinsey has also some information there. So I'm happy to provide these links. Reach out to whoever invited you to the session, and we can provide that. On the VersaFile side, Pascal showed the 7 pillars of intelligent automation, which is our framework for looking at, capabilities, not technologies, and really looking at the business lens, or through the business lens first, and deciding what capability, excuse me, needs to be supported, and then making a technological decision. The maturity model that we showed, again, whoever invited you to the session, we're happy to provide you a copy of that. And then there's a few other assets that can help clients through the decision process as they migrate their way to level 5 maturity. Level 5 is a tough thing to get to, but certainly if we can get to 4, we're really starting to achieve the benefits that Pascal talked about. We'll be hosting another webinar on June 23rd that actually talks about those things: the maturity model, the 7 pillars, and the 14 decision dimensions for choosing IT technologies. So if that has any interest to you, we would encourage you to reach out to whoever invited you to the session, and we can get you a link to that webinar. On behalf of VersaFile and IBM, who helped sponsor this as well, thank you for taking the time out today. And Pascal, thank you very much for your time and your insights and sharing that with us.
Thank you very much.